Hello everyone, welcome back to a brand new video, and today is going to be a special video because I have hit 2,000 subscribers, and since I didn't make a video for 1,000 subscribers, I decided I will review your auras. So a few days ago, I asked you guys to submit me some auras so I can review them on video, and I'm going to show the ones that you have submitted in this video. So this is the first aura, it's called Gradients and it does not have a specified rarity. So right away, the choice of colors is a bit off, but I really like the concept. It reminds me of Sidereum, if you know what I mean. Otherwise, I feel that the beams are very well made, they connect to the stars and the galaxy very well, and the bottom aura could use some work. It does seem a bit too unsaturated, it's way too white. So for this video, I'll be rating auras in terms of two scales, which is idea originality and execution. For this one, I'll give it a 4 out of 10 for originality and a 6.5 for execution. It definitely has potential, and I suggest that you work on it more. So next up, we have Voided, 1 in 500,000, and straight away I can say the colors are well picked, there's good saturation in the correct places. Otherwise, I can see some clear Z offset issues because the stars are clipping with the background black aura that they're supposed to be above. Lastly, I feel like the rings on this aura are a bit too chaotic, and I feel like with a bit of cleaning work, this could easily be fixed. Also, the title is a bit bland. The Void aura idea is kind of overused, which is why I'm going to give this a 2.5 out of 10 for originality and a 7 out of 10 for execution. Next we have Chaotic Neutral, which is an aura that I really like right away. The color choice is unique and it does fit together well. The one thing that I don't like too much is the top orb, which I feel could be improved massively if first of all the star didn't rotate orientation and that the ring surrounding the star was just a regular circle with some atmosphere behind it. So the title itself is almost perfect, I feel it just needs the stroke to be a bit more purple than it is blue. As for some general cleanup, I feel like you should increase the particle count on the ring that's horizontally surrounding the player, and I feel like the beams themselves on the side orbs are moving slightly too slow. As for the cracks in the ground, they should maybe be changed to be also slightly more purple, just like the title. My final rating for this aura is going to be a 7 out of 10 for both originality and execution. Next up on the submissions list, we have Timekeeper, which overall is an amazing concept, and I'm not sure how nobody else has thought of that before, or at least made it into an aura before. So for the video quality I can see here, the beams do flash in and out of view, which is not something I like too much. I'd rather they be more constant, and also that they be a bit less white than they are right now. And even though the clocks that are in the background of the character and the orbs that are next to the character are good quality, the character itself likes a tiny bit of aura, as it just has a surrounding aura around it, but no little particles or anything to create atmosphere. Because of that, I'm going to give this aura a 6 out of 10 in originality and a 6.5 in terms of execution. The next aura in line is Voidbound, and right away, I like the color picks, but I do feel like they need some work. If you look at the top of the aura and the bottom of the aura, you can see that one red is much more saturated and a bit darker, while the bottom one is closer to a pink than it is to a red. The chains feel like they lack since it's just single beams without any kind of layering going on, like the orbs for example, and I feel like with just a little bit more work, they can look good. The top of the aura feels a bit too prominent because it has no transparency whatsoever and it's only made up of one element, which is kind of bringing down the rest of the look around the character. Just like the top ring, the bottom ring is also made a bit lazily, except it looks completely different from the top ring, which I feel makes it a bit incoherent compared to the rest of the aura like I mentioned before. Once again, this is a Void aura, which is an overused concept, except it did use black and red, which is a bit off theme and I like that idea. So in terms of originality, I'm gonna give this a 3.5 out of 10. In terms of execution, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. There's some work to do. Next up, we have Lucid, which, as I can tell right away, has no title, which is a bit worrying since that's one of the main parts of an aura, but I guess this does just feel like a concept that somebody made in about 30 minutes, and I feel like unlike the Void auras, the idea is pretty original. Straight away, I can tell you that this has no light emission in some areas, which I don't like. One of my main things is that I like to work with light emission because it adds a really aura feel to this, because without any light emission, an aura would not be an aura, but just colors plastered around a character. That being said, the color scheme is actually well picked. I like neon green, it's my favorite color, so I'm kind of biased here, but overall it does look like it fits together nicely. So for this aura, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 in terms of originality, and I'm going to give the execution a 3 out of 10 since this has a long way to go before it becomes an actual aura. So the next submission actually contains multiple auras, so I'm going to review these quickly. This aura feels like just an aquatic clone, which right away scores it at 1 out of 10 in originality, but the execution is decently done, which I'll give a 6 out of 10 for. Next, we have Galaxy Restricted, which to me just feels like a bit lazy of an aura, since it's just a black hole with a few particles coming out of the hands. The colors are well picked, and I really like the idea with the particles on the hands and legs, which I'll give some points for, but the black hole itself is nothing special, so I'm gonna give this a 1 out of 10 for originality and a 7 on execution. The next aura is called Gifted, and I do feel like the colors are nicely picked, with the exception of the yellow beam, which does not fit with the golden color used for the rest of it, and it does feel kind of close to Gilded, but it's not exactly that, so it gets some points in originality. Overall, this is a nice simple aura. It's definitely not a 1 in 15k, but if it was lower rarity, I could see this being in the game. This gets a 5 out of 10 in originality from me, and a 5 in execution. Definitely has potential. Next up, we have this aura, and I feel like this one has a great concept because of the particles around the character. It reminds me of an effect from a Roblox game I used to play called Grand Peace Online. It reminds me of the effect Gravity used to have in the game. This person calls it their least favorite, but honestly, out of all the auras so far, this one does have the most potential. However, in the state that it's in right now, this will get a 7.5 out of 10 in terms of originality, and a 3 out of 10 in terms of execution. Once again, light emission, light emission, light emission. Next we have Magnetic Fusion, and this aura, right away, the color choice is not it. The colors all clash, the shades do not work together, some colors are light, some are dark, and some are hot, some are cold. And I don't mean this in a contrasting way, I just mean that they don't fit. While design-wise this is its most advanced aura, this aura definitely needs some revamping for it to actually be what the name calls it, Magnetic Fusion, since I see nothing magnetic here at all, with the only thing being considered magnetic is the blue and red beams that are around the character. So in terms of rating, I'm not exactly sure what this is supposed to be, so I can't really give it a rating of originality, and as for the execution, this will be a 2 out of 10. I highly suggest to develop the aura before this one, it has the most potential in my opinion. So next up, we have Starlight, 1 in 55,555. And straight away, I love the arcane inspiration, it's one of my favorite auras from the main game, and I love the star in the middle of the character with the particles going inside of it. If one of you was wondering what a perfect color scheme looks like, this is it right here. It has the perfect balance between the color that it's using and white tones. I don't think there's a lot for me to criticize here. I feel like this aura is pretty perfect. It's a good 9.5 out of 10 overall, but I do feel like there's something lacking here for the bottom aura, since it feels just a tiny bit empty. However, it's understandable because this is a low rarity aura. So my rating for this is going to be a 6 out of 10 for originality, because star theme is definitely not new, but the execution is definitely a 9.5 out of 10. So this is basically all the submissions that I got in the comments section, Maybe if I do this again in the future, I'm going to get more, but until then, I really enjoyed the auras you guys submitted, and I feel like you guys are all learning really well, and that you have a lot of potential coming up in your careers. Thank you so much for watching the video, and even though I'm the one reading auras here, I do want you guys to share your opinions in the comment section about these auras. Maybe there's something that I missed, or something that I'm not rating correctly in your opinions. I'd love to see what you guys have to say. Well, bye for now.